Hey all, welcome to today's topic. And today I want to talk to you about a problem that I found. If you've watched any of my videos or all of my videos, you know that I am a staunch proponent for the drivers that work on these food delivery platforms. I think everybody should be making that $25 to $30 an hour. And if you know and understand your marketplace and you put a good strategy in place, you will make $25 to $30 an hour while you are out here doing food delivery. At the same time, you also know that I am a staunch proponent for the platforms. These platforms pay me $28 plus an hour to go out here and deliver food to people. So I am a very staunch proponent of the platforms. I don't like all of what they send me when they send me requests, because a lot of them are very low and a lot of them are high miles, but I decline those and move on. I did find a situation with DoorDash, though, that I want to talk to you about today that I want you to keep an eye out for, because this is something that really irritated me when it happened to me. And it's happened to me a number of times. I don't know exactly how many. I'm up to about 1,200 deliveries so far on the platforms. And it's only happened to me a handful of times, but it happened to me last week. And I wanted to bring it to your attention so that you know to look for it. And if you run into it, it's a problem that DoorDash has. So I want to dive into that today with you and talk to you about that so that you know what to look out for. And at this point, I don't know anything that you can do to solve the problem. So hold on and we'll get into the topic. Thank you for joining me today, and I'd like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. And if you have watched 3 or more of my videos, that means that you're interested in my content. Go ahead and click that subscribe button so it'll hit your feed and you'll know when my new videos come out. I'd also like to ask you to like this video, and thank you for joining me today. So the problem that I'm going to talk to you about is only happening on DoorDash specifically. It's not happening on Uber Eats, and it's not happening on Grubhub. I want to lay out the scenario for you because this is the only time I've seen it happen to me, and it could happen in other scenarios too. But I got a stacked order the other day. I was working in Auburn, Indiana, which is a town of about 15,000 people that I have talked about in some of my other videos that I work sometimes. Most of the time I work in Fort Wayne, but there are times when I'll work in Auburn. So anyway, I was finishing up a delivery for DoorDash, and they sent a stacked order to my phone. Let's say it was $16.50, and the total miles on the offer was, let's say, 5.2 miles. I go to the first restaurant and I pick up the order and texted the customer, let them know. I go to the second order or second restaurant, I pick up the order, I text the customer, let them know. I let both of them know I have a second delivery, so I'll be there as soon as possible. I hit confirm pickup on that second order, and then I drive to the address that the app has suggested I drive to drop off that order. Once I get there, I drop off the order. I click that the order has been delivered and let the customer know that their food has arrived. And this is where the problem happens that I've found. When I get to that second order, it said that the drop-off location is going to be in a specific area because they show you on the map where the drop-offs are going to be. They don't tell you the exact address, but they tell you that the general idea on the map of where that drop-off is going to be. They also give you a total of the miles that they are going to expect you to drive. Well, when I get to that second delivery, what happens is the app sends me the address, and instead of let's say a mile or mile and a half from the first drop off to give me that total of 5 miles, The second drop-off is going to be an additional 5 miles. This is a huge problem for me. I got the second address on this, or in this particular situation, and I was shocked. The total on it was supposed to be 5 miles, and the actual drop-off location was only about a half a mile from my hotspot in Auburn, which I've told you is a strip of restaurants that I pretty much get all of my orders from. There are a couple of outlying locations where restaurants are, but most of them are within this about a quarter mile of each other in this one strip. Well, the second delivery that I got the address for, the delivery was actually 5 miles away in Garrett, which is right beside Auburn. And I've done deliveries in Garrett if the dollars and miles make sense for me. But in this case, I was expecting the drop-off to be in Auburn. So what this did is this sent me an additional 5 miles or 4.5 miles more than I was expecting to go with the initial offer. And it also put me about 4.5 miles away from that hot zone. So I wasn't going to be able to get another order right away because I was too far away from where that hot zone is. So let's talk about what I did. I immediately after I got the address, I got on support for DoorDash. And I really like DoorDash, as you all know, because they pay me a lot of money. However, the support group at DoorDash are very unforgiving to drivers. I don't feel that they put their drivers first. When I got on the chat with the support person, the first thing they said to me was, number one, I'm not going to get any additional pay. They're not going to compensate me for the extra time nor the miles that I drove to take that delivery. Secondly, they kind of got a little belligerent with me about taking the delivery to the customer, and all they cared about was making sure that delivery was dropped off. Now, in the interim, I did, even though the address wasn't correct, I had already picked up the order and I had already started driving to that drop-off as I was contacting support. It was not the customer's fault, and that's on me. As I've said in other videos, I made that decision myself, knowing I likely would not get compensated for the extra miles or the extra time. But DoorDash, the support guy that I talked to on the chat, he did not care at all about me and my situation with the algorithm and the request that I was sent telling me it was going to be one thing where in fact it was something completely different. So shame on you, DoorDash, for doing this. If you get a request from DoorDash and it says that it's going to be a specific number of miles, and when you actually do that delivery, it is something else, I personally feel that DoorDash should step up to the plate and compensate you for the extra work that you're doing for the platform. What are your options when you run into this situation? You got one of two options available. Number one, you can do like I did, and you can take care of the customer and just understand that it happened and it is what it is, and just drop off the order and move on to the next one. That is what I did in this situation because I already had the food in my possession and the customer was expecting it. I didn't have to do that though. Another option that you have is you can actually take the food back to the restaurant and you can give that order back to DoorDash and say, no, I'm not going to do this because you lied to me. The impact it will have on you on the platform is when you take that order back and you give it back to DoorDash, they're actually going to ding you on your completion rate. If you have not given any orders back, you're going to be fine, but your completion rate is very important. And if you get below 80% on that completion rate, you can be deactivated. So if you've given back a lot of orders and you have a low completion rate and you run into this situation, it can throw you into a catch-22. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you don't take it, you could face deactivation. If you do take it, you're driving the extra miles and time for DoorDash without being compensated anymore for that delivery. So you've got to really weigh your options if you run into this situation. And at this point, I don't know any way to fix the situation, because the offer is sent to you in one form, and when you get the delivery, it's another form. I don't know any way to fix it. And when you call DoorDash support, they're not going to do anything to help you. They're not going to do anything to fix the situation, even though they are the ones that caused it. So take these orders, and if you get an order and get into that situation, it might even happen when you only have one. I did it with stacked orders a couple of times. I've noticed it over the deliveries that I've taken for DoorDash, but it could happen with one delivery. And if you are taking a stacked delivery, and let's say it's the second delivery, you're not going to be at that restaurant to give back that order to the restaurant and to give it back to DoorDash unless you drive back to the restaurant. So this is a huge problem to me, and it doesn't happen very often. It's probably happened 3, maybe 4 times in 1,200 deliveries, but it is something that can happen to you, and it will affect your hourly rate, and it will affect your dollars to mile if this happens. Not one time has this happened where it's been in my benefit. Let's say they told me I was going to drive 4 miles and it was only a half a mile. Every time it's happened to me, it's told me that it was going to be a lower amount, and then when I get to that delivery, it is actually a higher amount. And when it has happened to me, the few times that it has, it's literally a half a mile is what they told me, and when I get to that delivery, after I've dropped off the first one, it's literally 5 miles longer than it was originally said to me. So keep that in mind, and keep an eye out for that situation in case it happens to you. DoorDash is wrong for allowing to continue to let this happen to drivers. They know about it. They know the situation's happening. It's obviously a glitch in their computer system, because a computer is what decides on who is going to do what, and it is also the one that plots out the pickups and the drop-offs on the platform. They know it is an issue, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that's had this happen, and I'm sure that other drivers have probably complained to them, and they should really step up to the plate, especially knowing on specific deliveries that this has happened, so that they can fix this from happening in the future. It's happened to me a number of times since the beginning of my deliveries with DoorDash, and I've complained each time, and nothing is being done about it. I think DoorDash should really step up to the plate and fix this problem in their system and stop allowing this to happen to its drivers. If it's not going to do that, I feel that DoorDash should compensate the drivers for the extra miles and time that they are having to deliver because of this glitch in their system. And I hope that with talking about this today, I hope that other drivers will start complaining when this happens to them, so that DoorDash knows that it's happening more than they think, so that they fix this problem. I hope that you enjoyed today's topic. I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. I would also like to ask you to like this video so that more people can see it, so I can get this word out with what's happening with DoorDash. And if you know anyone at all that can use the advice and the education that I give out here on my videos, please make sure to share this video with those people so that they can get the help that they need too. I thank you for watching today, and get out there and get the money that you and your family deserves. And with that, I'm going to say thanks.